All right, what is going on, YouTube? This is Mohammed, your PMP coach from Certify with Ease, coming to you with another video where we're going to solve a bunch of situation-based questions. And the reason why I focus so much on situation-based questions is because most of the exam is situation-based. They'll either ask you, what should the PM do? What should the PM have done? What should the PM do first or next? So I just purchased a membership to ChatGPT because I tried to make this video and I ran out of questions, and I'm going to use their PMI Infinity Simulator. I suggest everyone use this, and we're going to use, on our left hand side, we have these principles, these golden principles to help us navigate through these questions. And you're going to see we're going to get to a point where we're going to be able to answer a situation-based question without even reading the question itself. Why? Because the PMP exam, and I keep mentioning this, is a standardized exam. Every standardized exam follows a pattern. Once you crack that pattern, you crack the exam. All right. So let me see if these questions are. You know what? Let me write something. Give me a situation-based question. Okay. So let me assess. Let me assess what these questions look like, if they're similar to the exam or not. All right. So don't give me the answer. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's read this question together. A project manager is overseeing a software development project. During the project, a key stakeholder expresses concern that the project is not aligning with their expectations, even though the project team has been following the requirements documented in the project charter and scope statement. The stakeholder's concern could potentially derail the project if not addressed promptly. Okay, so the stakeholder's complaining. So what's the problem statement? That's the first thing that we want to figure out, because most of this question is just things that we don't need. I don't care if it's a software development project. This stakeholder is just basically saying that, you know what, this project does not align with the expectations, but the project team has been following the requirements. What should the PM do first? Okay, so I think my camera's lagging a bit. I'm gonna turn off this. This camera over here. I don't want to mess up the video. Okay, so we're gonna dive into this. Anytime they mention first, what should the PM do first or next? We want to look for principle number 1. Okay, but anyways, let's take this slow. Let's read through the answers. Update the project charter and scope statement to reflect the stakeholder's expectation. Okay. Schedule a meeting with the stakeholder to understand their concerns and gather detailed feedback. Okay. B sounds like principle number 1 in action. C, escalate the issue to the project sponsor for further guidance. We never want to pick C. Look at principle number 8. We do not run to the sponsor. Proceed with the project as planned since the requirements have been documented and approved. So again, this doesn't really feel like the right answer. There's a problem. Why are we ignoring it? We never want to ignore a problem. That's not a principle that I wrote down, but it's something that's pretty common sense, right? Pretty evident that we don't want to ignore an issue when it arises. So we're stuck with A and B. What should the answer be? A is a consequence of B, and we are asking, or the question is asking, what should the project manager do first? B closely aligns with principle number 1, where we take that step back and we understand the stakeholder's concerns. And then after that, if we agree, we can update the project charter. The best answer is going to be B. So what's the answer? Let's ask, what's the answer? Okay, I want you guys to get familiar with this mindset, because once you got this mindset down, this exam is so easy. I see people, so we got B. B is the right answer. So I see people spending months and months in studying. I was like, what? Why do you guys spend months studying? Okay, so give me another. So please give me another. Give me another one. Okay. I don't know why I say please, especially when I paid. I feel like if I don't say please, the chat won't give me a good question. So let's see. All right, so we got another what should the project manager do first question. I want you to understand anytime they mention first or next, you want to look for principle number 1. Anyways, during the execution phase of a construction project, the project manager notices that the project is running behind schedule due to unforeseen delays in material delivery. The PM needs to take immediate action to bring the project back on track. What should the PM do first? There's a delay. That's our problem statement. There's a delay. The project manager needs to bring this project back on track. A, revise the project schedule to accommodate the delays. Okay. Revising is taking a step back. Principle number 1. B, communicate the delay to its stakeholders and provide a revised timeline. Okay. All right. Not a bad answer. Implement corrective actions to expedite the remaining work and recover the schedule. Not a bad answer, but I would not choose that immediately. I need to follow principle number 1. And C is an action that can follow whatever answer resembles principle number 1. So I won't choose that immediately. Analyze the impact of the delay on the project's critical path and determine possible... Okay, this is a beautiful answer. Wow. All right, so analyzing is taking a step back, number 1. But I want to give you a little hack here. And even if you're a PM in real life and you're managing actual projects, I want to give you a little hack. Anytime there's a delay and you need to bring the project back on track, you want to look at the critical path. You don't know what a critical path is? Don't worry, just Google it. Right? I don't want to break your head in this video right now and talk about theory, but anytime there's a delay, remember this. You want to look at the critical path. D is an all-encompassing answer because it mentions analyzing, so taking that step back, gathering or investigating and figuring out and collecting more information, and then looking at the critical path. A and B are good, but D is going to be better. All right? What's the answer? So, again, anytime there's a delay, critical path is the answer. Okay? Obviously, read the question beforehand. Next question. All right. I think this is question number 3. Hopefully the chat mixes it up a bit because I want to tackle the other types of questions. Not only do first, but what should the project manager do and have done? Those are also questions. But anyways, we'll give it a prompt if not. A project team is working on the development of a new product. Halfway through the project, a critical team member resigns unexpectedly. The project manager needs to address this issue to minimize the impact on the project schedule and deliverables. What should the project manager do first? Immediately hire a replacement with similar skills. Okay, so what's the problem statement here? Someone quits unexpectedly. We need to hire someone so we don't delay the project. A, immediately hire a replacement. So this is an action that can follow the answer that resembles principle number 1, which is highlighted to your left. Reassign the critical task to other team members. Okay, this could be a good solution. This is technically kind of a scheduling compression technique, but this is an action that will follow the answer that resembles principle number 1. Again, I want to drill this into your heads. Conduct a risk assessment to evaluate the impact of resignation. This is the answer. I can tell you this automatically. Why? Because by conducting a risk assessment and evaluating, you are taking that step back and collecting all the necessary information required before making a choice or taking an action. D, inform the stakeholders about the resignation and its potential impacts. Okay, fine. Informing the stakeholders is a good answer, but it doesn't really solve the issue at hand, which is minimizing the impact. What are we doing to solve that? The best answer is going to be, so what's the answer? The best answer is going to be C. Okay. Look, next question. All right, let's look at what we got next. Which response do you prefer? What is this? 2 questions in 1? Which response do you prefer? Your choice will help make ChatGPT. Okay, let's help make ChatGPT better together, guys. Let's do this together. All right. All right. Here's the next situational question. Okay, so a project manager is leading a project that is in the final stages of execution during the routinely quality inspection. A significant defect is discovered in the product. Fixing the defect will require additional time and resources, which could potentially delay the project's completion. Okay. So we got this this defect that has been unexpectedly discovered, but fixing it will cause a delay and additional time and resources. What should we do? What should we have done first, actually? What should the project manager do first? Sorry. Approve the use of additional action. This is an action. We want to look for the answer that resembles principle number 1. So approve the use of additional resources to fix the defect immediately. This is going to be a consequence of what we should actually do first, or a potential consequence, I should say, of what we should do first. Communicate the issue to the stakeholders and discuss the potential impact. This is a good answer. Taking a step back, communicating, and discussing. Maybe there's a workaround. Maybe there's not. Maybe we're screwed. Maybe we're not. We don't know. Assess the impact of the defect on the project's objectives and deliverables. This is better. Why? What are you going to discuss with the stakeholders? You're going to discuss the impact of the defect. Assessing is also taking that step back. So B and C are both on the same wavelength as number 1, principle number 1. But C is better because once you assess and have a strong understanding of the impact of the defect, then you could communicate that with the stakeholders. Proceed with the project as planned and address the defect after. No, we don't do that, because if we proceed with what we have as planned, this quality issue is going to ruin everything for us. Okay, so this one, can I choose a response here? Okay, no. So this one I would say is going to be C. Okay, C. So let's look at this one. I'm sorry, did I mess up here? No, this is another question, right? Okay, so a project manager, that was question number 2. Number 1, a project manager is leading an IT infrastructure upgrade project. Midway through the project manager discovers that the project team is using outdated and incorrect technical specifications, which could result in rework and cost overruns. What should the project manager do first? Okay, team is using outdated, incorrect technical specifications. Basically, your last sentence. This could cause significant rework. What should we do? Halt all project activities. Okay, so why do we not want to halt all the activities? This is another principle that you're going to see because it contradicts number 2. When you halt the activities, you are essentially creating a delay in the project. So A we can eliminate. Inform the project sponsor, eliminate because of 8. Conduct a team meeting to identify how the error occurred and determine corrective actions. Okay, I like this. Why? Because it's similar to a root cause analysis. A root cause analysis will allow you to identify the core problem. So this is also taking a step back and gathering information before deciding on a solution. D, update the project plan to reflect the necessary changes. Okay, and continue with the work. Okay, no. So the second part messed everything up. We don't want to continue with the work. We want to take some sort of corrective action to adjust the issue. If we continue with the work with this problem, it's going to cause problems. So the best answer is going to be C. And the other one was also C. Both answers. I don't know if they want us to, if they're going to give us an answer, are C. Okay, what do you say? Let me just ask that. The best answer is C. Conduct a meeting, how the error occurred, and determine. Yes. Was that the answer we chose? Yeah, we did. Okay. What about this one? What's the answer? Oh, okay, there's 2. What's the answer? I don't know why they asked me if they know what the answer is. But C, there we go. So both of them are C. All right. Next question, please. So they have the audacity to say please. They have the audacity to say please after I paid for a membership. No, I'm just joking. All right. During the execution of a marketing project, the new regulation is introduced that affects the project deliverables. The project manager needs to ensure that the project complies with the new regulation without significantly impacting the project schedule. All right. So now this is very interesting. I want to explain this concept to you without reading the answers first. Anytime there's a new regulation in place, you have to consider it. This could be a regulation that has been stipulated by the government, by the state. It can be something that has been stipulated by the industry. So it's something that we cannot avoid or delay on. We need to consider it immediately. So there's this new regulation, and this new regulation can affect is going to affect the project deliverables. What should the PM do? First, immediately update the project plan to include new regulation requirements. Eventually, we're going to have to do that because we can't avoid it, but we don't want to immediately take an action, especially when they say, what should the project manager do first? We want to follow principle number 1 over here. Over here. Notify the perform an impact analysis to understand the effect of the new regulation on the project. Very good. Take a step back. Let's gather the information. What is this? What is this regulation? I don't even know what it is. Let me perform this impact analysis so I know what I'm doing. C, notify the project stakeholders about the new regulation and its potential impact. Okay, that's a good answer, but I would say once you have an idea, an understanding of it, then it's a good idea to inform the project stakeholders. Imagine going into a meeting and not knowing anything. You're just going to waste everyone's time. D, assign a team member to research the new regulation and provide a summary. Okay, fine. D is kind of similar to B, but B is better because you're performing an actual impact analysis and you're seeing how it's going to affect your project. Okay. And number 2, you don't want to, as a project manager, at least for this exam, you don't want to use your team members for things that are outside their primary tasks. Why? Because they got other stuff to do. If you're using them, they're not going to be able to focus on their actual work, which might, as a consequence, create a delay in the project. So the best answer is going to be B. All right, cool. All right, let's do the next question. Next situation, explain. What I want to do is I want to switch these questions around. So I'm going to say make it a little harder. Make it a little harder. No, not little. Make it harder. Let's see what the simulator has. And I'll tell you if this is a good representation of the exam. If it's not, then don't break your head over it. Okay, so this is a good question, just from the length, because not all the questions, but some of the questions you can expect this length. This is the average length of the PMP exam. Well, you'll have a pretty lengthy question, and you'll have some pretty lengthy answers. Now, this is where our methodology comes into play. When we are reading with purpose. We are trying to dissect the situation to find the problem statement. When we are reading the answers, we want to read in such a way that we eliminate the answers that don't make sense, or that contradict our principles, I should say. Don't go with common sense immediately, because a lot of times common sense is not that common. You want to have these standard principles that I have to the left, or your own principles that will help you navigate. All right, enough chit chat. A PM is leading an international project with the team members located in different time zones. The project has a tight deadline and several critical milestones. Recently, the project has experienced communication issues, resulting in delays and misunderstandings among team members. What should the project manager do first to address the communication issues and get the project back on track? People are all over the world. That's causing communication problems, and which ultimately is resulting in delays. What should the project manager do first to address communication issues, because that's our main problem, and get this project back on track? Okay, so we have 2 problems now that we need to find a solution to. Communication issues and getting the project back on track. A, implement a standardized communication protocol and schedule regular virtual meetings. Okay. Not a bad solution. Let's move on. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor and request additional resources. So we do not go to the project sponsor. This is why I say use principles, because they'll save you so much time. The moment you see project sponsor, you eliminate it. C, travel to each location. Okay, so this is not feasible, right? The project manager is not going to travel to each location to personally oversee the team's activities. Imagine how much time that's going to take. C, we can eliminate. D, assign a dedicated communication coordinator to manage the flow of information between team members. Okay, so we are stuck with A and D. What should the answer be? So let's go back to our issues. So what was our problem statement? We have communication issues and getting the project back on track issues. And we have A that says implement a standardized communication protocol and schedule virtual team meetings. Okay. D, assign a dedicated communication coordinator to manage the flow of information between team members. All right. You know, I like how they worded it, but D is not going to be the answer. When you assign a dedicated communication coordinator, what are you doing? Even if you're hiring someone, we never want to settle for we never want to settle for extra costs immediately. We want to do everything we potentially can to avoid extra costs. Now, I am assuming that this dedicated communication coordinator is going to be hired, or we're going to use someone who's already a team member, which we don't want to do as well because that's going to take away from their work. And we're going to assign this person as the coordinator. We don't want to do that. The best thing is going to be A, implement a standardized communication protocol and schedule regular virtual meetings. Okay, so let's see what the answer is. A. Okay. Again, A is not the best answer. I'll tell you guys that, because it only answers one issue. The communication issues, not getting the project back on track. But none of these answers answer the second part of the question, getting the project back on track. Right? On the exam, you're gonna have proper questions that actually answer everything. So just understand that. Okay? So we're right on that. Let's move on to the next question. You know what? Yeah, let's just move to the next question. Let's see what they give me. All right, so it's not that challenging, guys. You guys could do this. Again, the PMP exam is a reading exam. If you know how to read, you have some principles, you're good to go. Okay. A project manager overseeing a complex infrastructure project. Halfway through the project, a key supplier informs the project manager that they will be unable to deliver critical materials on time due to unforeseen circumstances. This delay threatens to push the project significantly behind schedule. What should the project manager do first? All right. This delivery or key supplier cannot deliver on time. This is going to cause a delay. That's it. All you have to understand is this is going to cause a delay. That's our problem statement. Understand that. A, inform the stakeholders about the delay and revise the project schedule. Okay. Revising the project schedule is not a bad solution. I would prefer them saying revise the critical path, but okay, you know what? If you're revising the project schedule, you're probably going to get to the critical path. But let's see what else there is. Seek alternative suppliers who can provide the necessary material within the required time frame. So this could be a consequence of the answer that best resembles principle number 1, like I keep mentioning. So we're not going to choose that right away. Perform a risk analysis to assess the impact on the project and develop mitigation strategies. Okay, C is going to be the answer, I can already tell. Why? Because, again, a risk analysis to assess, keyword assess, which is kind of like investigating or analyzing. Once you have the information about this risk, about the risk, you'll be able to do much more. D, negotiate with the current supplier to expedite delivery, even if it incurs additional costs. So again, we don't want to settle for additional costs, even though additional costs will always precede. The schedule will always precede additional costs, meaning the schedule is king. If we need to sacrifice the queen, which is additional costs, we will sacrifice the queen. However, the best thing that we want to do is C, because it respects principle number 1. Okay, what's the correct answer? C. Okay, nice. So hopefully you have an idea on how you should proceed with these situation-based questions. We're going to do something interesting now. I am going to just read the answers, and I suggest you do the same thing. Just pause the video, read the answers, and see if you can pick out the right one. Okay, so give me another one. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to read any of the question. All I know is they're asking for what should I do first at the PM. Now that we've practiced, let's see what we can do. Update the project plan? No. Conduct a comprehensive impact analysis? Yes, that's the answer. Schedule a meeting with the project team to stakeholders to discuss the regulatory change. Okay, that's a good answer too. Assign regulatory expert to oversee the integration of the new requirements into. Okay, the best answers are going to be B and C. Okay, and the best answer out of B and C is going to be B, because you need to understand the impact before you schedule a meeting. Imagine again going into a meeting and not even knowing what to discuss. The best answer is going to be B. Right, boom. I didn't even read the question. And I'm telling you, these principles are so key. They will help you. If you have a methodology in place, what is this? Oh, okay, let's do the next one. All right. Okay, let's read the same thing, the same procedure. I'm not reading the question. Forget the question. What should the project manager do first? Okay, cool. Do first. All right, we're looking for principle number 1. Ignore the issue. We never ignore the issue. Conduct a risk assessment to understand the potential impact of security vulnerability. Okay, risk assessment is nice because it tells us everything that we need to know. It gives us all the information so we can make a sound decision. C, inform the stakeholders about the potential delay and seek their approval to address the issue. No. Informing them is good, but seeking their approval, how is that going to solve the core problem? We don't even know what the core problem is because we haven't read the question, but let's just assume. Assign additional resources. We don't do that. We don't assign additional resources because it costs money. It's going to be B. Okay, it's going to be B. All right, let's do one more. Actually, let's do 2 more. I'm trying to get to the 30-minute mark here. But again, just read the answers and answer them. Pause the video and do it yourself. You'll be able to answer it. What should the project manager do first? Terminate the contract and find a new one. Okay, no. Let's look for principle number 1. Escalate the issue. We don't go to the sponsor. Conduct a meeting with the vendor to discuss. Okay, very good. Reassign the vendor's task to. Okay, answer is C. I can see that. Why? Because they have the keyword discuss. They have a keyword meeting. That's where you gather all the information. So what's the correct answer? C. And these questions are simple. Okay? And this is what the PMP is all about. You don't need to break your head for 3 to 4 months memorizing stuff. All right, let's look at this one again. What should the project manager do first? Reassign key team members tasks to other team members who can handle them. Okay, so A is interesting. A actually contradicts one of our principles here. Never create friction in the team. So this is a very broad term or very broad rule. But when you basically think about this, when you take someone's tasks away and tell them that, you know what, you're incompetent, I'm going to give it to someone else that's going to do them, even though you might have to do it, it creates friction. This person starts looking at you as someone who hates him or her, right? So you don't want to do this. Hopefully that makes sense, but for the PMP exam, you don't want to do this. Hire temporary replacement. Okay, so again, we don't want to hire right away. Conduct a risk assessment to understand. That's the answer. D, inform. Okay, so what's the correct answer? Pretty simple. I know I'm being very lazy with the questions at the end, but again, guys, at the end of the day, I want to make this as easy as possible for you. So another question asking, what should the PM do? Okay, I don't want to look at first now. I want to look at do. Let's see if it's different. It might be the same, but it's fine. Okay, they asked do first. Anyways, let's do this one and let's end this video over here. Approve the change request and just, okay, that's an action. Again, principle number 1, reject the change request to avoid scope creep and additional costs. Okay, so I haven't read the question, so I'm not really sure, but in general, number 18, we don't want to immediately reject the request. Conduct an impact analysis. That's the answer. And have the answers all been C? I think so, huh? It's kind of C. B, no, okay, never mind. So the correct answer is going to be C over here. And we are Correct. Yes, we are correct. All right. Okay, guys. Okay, so this is going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm a little bit tired, in all honesty. 30 questions. I mean, not 30 questions, but I don't know how many questions. 30 minutes worth of questions. Use a simulator if you need to. Use my principles. And I've included a link to all my resources beneath this video. Use them and pass your PMP exam so you can move on with your life. You can get those opportunities. You can get a 6-figure salary. You can get opportunities in any industry you can possibly imagine. And of course, if you have any questions, put a comment in the comment section. This channel is very small, so I will get to your question as soon as possible, which is probably going to be in the next hour or two. All right, so put it in there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.